Hi, I am talking today about a stroll in Rasheed Street, Mutanabi Street. I get out of the house in the morning on this day, or the first day of 2021. It's a Friday. The streets are still empty. Baghdad is still sleeping. I took the minibus and went to Bab al-Mu'azzam. Traffic was smooth and I got the square quickly. Unlike other days, the movement seemed calm that I quickly crossed the square. I headed to Al-Midan Street. As always, the scene of Al-Ahmadiyya Mosque embraced me, and it is always a pleasure for me to watch it from here. It's very beautiful, especially since its dome has been newly maintained. Of course, this mosque is the most attractive mosque to travelers and voyagers who drown it. For example, we have the French traveler Eugène Flandin, as well as the French traveler Jean Dulabois and the British traveler Arthur Melville, and others. It became also a greeting card in 1960. Today is a Friday market. Many things are sold here: mobiles, audio devices, old devices, heritage devices, and here, of course, is the famous antiques market. You can find old ball pens, paints, markers, radios, televisions, etc. In general, if you don't buy, you can enjoy the beautiful tour. Open air restaurants. Of course, here is the place of a nice breakfast: kebab, kubba, eggs, etc. By the way, in summer it's possible to take watermelon as a breakfast. Most of the traditional cafes are here. Cafe Kulthum, Zahawi Cafe, Cafe Farid, Hassan Ajmi Cafe, and others. The street dates back to 1916. Before that, Baghdad was a maze of small driveways. When it was opened, it became the vital center of Baghdad. Cafes, cabarets, photographers, companies, newspapers, etc. I entered into Al-Mutanabi Street. Of course, I must quickly reach the Sarai Kubba, where my friend is waiting for me. The restaurant is old and well known. Even Nouri Said Pasha, Prime Minister in the royal epoch, loved this kubba. But here it gets really crowded, especially Fridays, where a lot of people are coming. The kubba is delicious, as well as the soup. And the istikan afterwards in Shahbandar Cafe. Then, of course, directly we must enter the Shahbandar Cafe. As you notice, the cafe is very beautiful, but it is difficult to find a place to sit in. It's full of people. The samovars are beautiful. The cafe is always a beautiful place to stay. In 2007, an explosion, a car bomb, destroyed completely the cafe. Today, as you see, it is back again, as beautiful as the past. The cafe was formerly Shahbandar Printing Press, which was established in 1907 and then turned into a cafe. It is an important cultural landmark. People talk here of many things: culture, art, poetry. The pictures hanging on the walls are beautiful, telling different periods of Iraqi's history. Al-Qishla, built by the Ottoman governor in 1861 as a barracks for soldiers, but the place originally dates back to the Abasside era. Al-Muwaffaqiyya school was here, and Ibn Jawzi mentioned it in his book Al-Muntazam. Of course, the building is Ottoman. Here were the soldiers, and here was announced the Ottoman ruler by a Sultani Farama from the Sublime Gate. There is also the Sultan's Palace and the Haramlik beside Al-Qishla. And here you can find cannons from the Ottoman epoch and the Tigris River. Exhibitions of handicrafts and art are held here. In 1917, during the British occupation, the British raised their flags here and over the clock tower. And then the place was used as a command center for the English troops and as home for officers and their families. In 1921, King Faisal was crowned here. Then it was used in the royal era as the seat of government. Here you can see the royal carriage. The watch, called Big Ben Baghdad, is similar to that placed in Al-Kadhimiya Mausoleum and Al-Qadiri Mausoleum. The tower is 23 meters high. Its voice was heard in Baghdad, but now it is out of service, despite many attempts to fix it. Al-Mutanabi Street is a cultural entertainment place, but on regular days, it is a shopping center between stationery and libraries. It's always full of people, books, and history. And here, we do not forget that the zone dates back to Abbasid era. Here was Al-Warraqin market. And here, we see the statue of Al-Mutanabi, the poet who was born in 1915 in Al-Kufa. We enter to the military preparatory school, dating back to about 1890. It is currently Baghdadi Cultural Center in Al-Mutanabi Street. It's a nice place. We find here many nice expositions. Once I saw here King Ghazi's car, which was a gift from Hitler. Germany made only 3 of them. One to King Ghazi, the second to Hitler, and the third to Mussolini. And of course we do not forget Khan al-Julud leather market in Al-Mutanabi Street near Hassan Pasha Mosque, the mosque of Minister Hassan Pasha. It's also called a Sarai Market and also Sarrajin Market. Handicraft of horse saddles. Today they are still working in leather, but in book binding handicraft. And of course we passed by Hajj Zbala, Jewish shop, and then we entered another cafe, Hassan Ajmi Cafe. Then we pass in King Uthman Street to see also Hammam al-Basha, which dates back also to the Abbasid era. Then we return to the Cafe Hassan Ajmi. Near to it, we can see the Jewish school Shamash. Of course, it's closed today. And also Al-Sayyid Bagels. Of course, clothes can also be bought here for government people. Then we enter to Haidar Khan Mosque. It's time of prayer. The mosque with its internal design, much like the Al-Ahmadiyya Mosque. According to the researcher Imad Abdussalam Raouf, this mosque was built by the Abbasid Caliph Al-Nasr Lidinillah, then rebuilt and expanded by Dawood Pasha, the last ruler of the Mamluks in 1827. Here was Al-Dawoodiyya school, and from the famous teachers we remember Mahmoud Shukri al-Alusi, who wrote many books on Baghdad. The mosque witnessed many political events and served as a center for protests and revolutions against governments, and played an important role in mobilizing the 20th Revolution, 1920, against the British occupation. Even the poet Muhammad Mehdi Jawahiri recited his famous poem, Baghdad, here. Here also passed poets and writers like poet Muhammad Rida Shibibi and the journalist Nuri Thabit. Then we enter to the quarter of Bab al-Agha and its famous proverb, such as Bab al-Agha bread, hot, tempting and cheap. This neighborhood talks about the era of Janissary army, which lived here for nearly 4 centuries and was based here. One of the barracks of Janissary is exactly here, the place of a statue of Al-Rasafi. The Janissary ended in 1826 by a farman of a sublime port. Today, it is an important commercial center for clothes, glasses, etc. Also, copper handicraft markets. Of course, we will not forget the Murjan Mosque, constructed by Sultan Uwais Al-Khani, one of the rulers of Jalairis in 1356, who was buried here. This ended the trip of Friday, and it's time to go back to the house with some books and very nice impressions of old Abbasid Baghdad and of Baghdad today. Thanks.